Good morning. Is my voice audible to you?
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
Yeah, good morning. एक 5 minutes तो फिर हम स्टार्ट करते हैं। एक 5 minutes में हम स्टार्ट करेंगे।
यस
चेकिंग नेटवर्क रिक्वायरमेंट्स दिखा के वो ये हो रहा है। I don't know what you people are doing. दोनों ही खुला है, मेरा लैपटॉप भी खुला है और ये भी खुला है, डेस्कटॉप भी खुला है। You solve it immediately. Don't give me an answer. Solve it immediately. Let me check. हाँ दोनों में भी लैपटॉप में भी कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ पे भी कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है आया अभी शायद आया आया सॉरी इज नॉट एन आंसर यू डोंट गिव मी एन एक्सप्लेनेशन आया क्लोज कर दो लैपटॉप yes is my voice audible to you am I clear
Yes, ma'am.
thank you let's start with
Yes, ma'am.
so we'll start with our emotional intelligence. Last class, I had asked you a series of questions like what would your reactions would be and the kind of on certain kind of situations. So we are done with 10 questions. Okay, now we'll start with what emotional intelligence is. So when we talk about emotional intelligence is not about being nice all the time. It is all about being honest. Like every time you cannot be no you cannot be putting a sugar coated words or you cannot be putting a good things about every time everywhere every person it is all about it is all about being honest that is what your emotional intelligence is like that is what your emotional stability is. Emotional intelligence is not about being touchy and feely. It is being aware about your feelings and those of others' feelings. It is very essential that you understand your feelings as well as you understand others' feeling. अगर आपको एक सिचुएशन में बुरा लगता है when somebody raises your voice, somebody says some words harshly to you, similarly दूसरे के केस में भी वो बुरा लगेगा अगर when you are raising your voice or when you are raising your or when you are speaking harshly to you. So emotional intelligence is not about being emotional, it is about being smart with your emotions. That's what the definition is. And it is defined as it is the ability to identify and manage your emotions and the emotions of others. Like when you are studying emotional intelligence, it is most important, like it is very manipulative when you are able to manage the emotions of others. And most important, when you are identifying your emotions and you are channeling them in the right direction. It is generally said to include three skills. One is your emotional awareness, one is the ability to harness the emotion and apply them to tasks like thinking and problem solving, and your ability to manage your emotions, which includes regulating your own emotion and cheering up and calming down the other people. Now, if I'm going to change it a make it into a layman's language, layman's language, I'll just say like it is the ability to express and control emotions, which is very essential. The ability to express as well as to control the emotion, which is very essential, but also it is the ability to understand, to interpret, and to respond to emotions of others. It is very essential that you are able to control your emotion and you are able to express your emotion, but it is equally important that you are able to understand, you are able to interpret and you are able to respond to the emotions of others. Respond to the emotions of the others. Now, when we talk about emotional intelligence, and as we have seen those three skills like emotional awareness, ability to harness the emotion, and then you're channeling the use of those emotion into thinking and problem solving, you're able to manage those emotions. It also refers to perceive, to control and to evaluate. ये जो तीन essential skills आप यहाँ पे देख रहे हो, वो तीनों को अगर हम we breaking down and we bring down to a layman's language, it is also called as to perceive, to control and to evaluate emotions. Now, I guess you would have a fair idea about what emotional intelligence is. Now, why is this emotional intelligence is required? Which field requires the emotion this emotional intelligence? कौन से फील्ड में ये इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस ज्यादा जरूरत होती है? Why are people going on joining? कौन सा फील्ड में ये इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस ज्यादा जरूरत होती है? Like why you are going to study emotional intelligence? कहाँ पे जरूरत ज्यादा होती है?
Team handling,
Sorry?
team handling.
Yes, team handling. Very good, thank you. Any other areas? Any other areas? Team handling is one such one a very great example of emotional intelligence of handling the emotions. As I say, emotional intelligence is basically recognizing, understanding, managing your own emotion, as well as recognizing, understanding, and influence the other emotion, others' emotion. Like how are you going to recognize, understand, and influence others' emotion? It is by the way of giving feedback. Like if there are tight deadlines that has to be met, it has to when you are dealing with challenging relationships, when you are having not having enough resources, but then you have a target that has to be clear. When you are walking through the setbacks and through the failures that you have to achieve somewhere you have to achieve a kind of achievement has to be shown. So, where exactly do you handle this emotional intelligence? Like, where exactly will you be using this kind of situations? This is what you have studied. Where exactly will you be using?
For effective leadership,
Very good. Thank you. Team building, effective leadership. What else? When it comes to team building, it is basically building a psychological safety within a team, creating cultures, you're coaching and motivating others when you are resolving the conflicts. Okay, we are being judged. In case of emotional intelligence, this Daniel Goleman has done a very big contribution towards emotional intelligence. So he says like we are being judged by a new yardstick, not just how smart we are, but or by our training and expertise, but also how well we handle ourselves and each other. Now, days are gone when you would be judged by how much percentage of marks you have secured in your exam. Like those days are totally gone. Though a part of today's culture basically looks for what exactly you have done. If you move down to आपके जो बी स्कूल्स रहते हैं ना, बी स्कूल्स के जो सीवी रहते हैं लाइक सिम्बी के केसेस में आपको बताती हूँ somewhere in that level, वहां पे सीवी में अपडेट किया जाता है कि what teamwork what you have done. Like they put emphasis like where you have been a team player. They put emphasis like where you have shown your leadership skills. They put emphasis कि what co-curricular activities you have managed, what co-curricular activities you have arranged. Like somebody says like I'm a YouTuber, like how much people you are influencing, what channel you have, what are the content, what content of you, like what are the contents that you show in your YouTube. So today's times, like many of the companies, even they have stopped judging you in terms of like how much scoring you have done, like how much, you know, nobody is going to ask you what is the definition of marketing that has been given by Kotler. Not anyone is going to ask you like what is the definition of OB that has been given by Robbins. But yes, somebody is gonna ask you like, where have you shown your leadership skills? Like, have you ever been a team player somewhere? कहीं पे आपने team player, where you ever been a team player and you have organized some kind of very successful event? इसीलिए there are clubs, HR clubs होता है, marketing clubs होता है, like they organize symposiums, they organize seminars, they organize kind of conferences. आपके जो बी स्कूल मिट्स होते हैं, लाइक ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर रिफ्लेक्टेड ऑन द सीवी. लाइक आपने कहीं पे पार्टिसिपेट किया है, समथिंग विच यू हैव ऑर्गेनाइज्ड, that should be more reflected in the CV. Like I have done this. So today it is not seen like how well we are handling ourselves and also how well we are handling others. Now, this first emotional intelligence first has come in the year of 1964 in a paper by Michael Beldosh, but it gained into popularity in 1995 when he has written a book called as Emotional Intelligence, and this Daniel Goldman, who is none other than the author of that book. He has successfully written a series of those books on emotional intelligence. He is also a psychologist and a science journalist. Emotional intelligence will be a very important key to leadership in the future. Why future? Today, even emotional intelligence will be a very plays a very important role in leadership. Now, any one of you would like to say anything on this aspect? Any one of you would like to say anything on this aspect, or shall I proceed?
अब अभी इलेक्शंस में हमने देखा है इसका असर इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का अभी 5-6 साल में।
Yeah, what aspects?
एक एक लोगों को सपना दिखा के इलेक्शन जीतना, जैसे अच्छे दिन आएंगे।
Okay. What other things? What other things? Like if you are very good, if you have a very good technical skill, that technical skill will help you, achieving a promotion. If you have a very good technical skill, that technical skill will help you to achieve a promotion, but not maybe not the other promotion. मतलब like next promotion आपको शायद नहीं मिल सकता है. What you need to have is apart from your technical skill, you should also have this human skill. Very popularly they say it human skill, like where you are able to influence your teammates, where you are able to handle your colleagues, where you are able to where you are able to, what do you say, like you are able to influence and let people know, have a faith, have a belief in themselves as well as on the company. Now, thank you for what you said about it, but it was a bit on the negative aspect on the elections that you have said. Over the years, this emotional intelligence, or very popularly known as the emotional quotient, have evolved. Like today, people are judged by the emotional quotient they have rather than the intelligent IQ that we show. The intelligent quotient that we saw, people are now judged by the emotional quotient that they have. Now, when we say about emotional intelligence and leadership, leadership is one such position जो कि आपने ओबी में भी कवर किया होगा. Leadership is one such position where people try to motivate people. They try to show a dream where you have to believe in that dream. Where क्या बोला जाता है, जैसे आपने बोला एक सपना था, where it is kind of a motivation and it is kind of taking people from one position to another position. One thing that we know for sure that in case of leadership, like a leaders have a trait of taking people away. A leaders have a trait of influencing the people today. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, where you understand, when it comes to emotional intelligence, when you understand what you want and how you are going to motivate those of the people, like for leaders, this EL is quite vital for the success, because these leaders have to understand what emotions that people have. Like people who are very likely to succeed in the organizations, like people who will take those organization forward, are actually called as a leader, and they give a shout out to their teams who are under stress, like how are we going to perform, and how are we going to achieve the target. It is a leader who stays in control and in calm and assesses the situation, says like how they are, each people is reacting to this situation, maintains a plan that this is what we will be doing, and then we will be going forward to it. I don't know why people are continuously joining. So this is what emotional intelligence will do to leadership. It is not in future. It has started from today itself. Like from now on, leadership and emotional intelligence are somewhat going hands in hand. But this conclusion is more a function of beliefs and values than based on traces of what we can see. Which one? That emotional intelligence will be an important key to leadership in the future is actually a conclusion and is more of a function of beliefs and values than based on traces of what we can see. But today we can see the traces of leadership having an influence on the emotional intelligence, having a follow based on manipulating the emotions of their people. And today leaders are actually looking for this emotional EI or EQ. Leader with a high EQ is someone who would be more successful than a person with a low EQ. We talk about the models of emotional intelligence. There are three models of emotional intelligence. Basically, from the very beginning, they are given two models, ability model and trait model. The third model is a mixture of this ability model and trait model, which we are kind of seeing this, but it has not been verified academically. So when it comes to ability model says like it is the ability to perceive emotion, to integrate emotions, to facilitate the thought process, understand the emotions, and to regulate emotions to promote personal growth. Now, when we talk about ability-based model, they view emotion as a useful source of information that will help one to make sense of and navigate the social environment. For example, आप मूवी देखने गए हो, like there is a very new movie that is in the town, एंड टिकट्स आपको मिलना बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है. आप बारिश में से 2 hours वेट किए हो. 2 hours वेट करने के बाद when you have a chance of getting a ticket, all tickets are sold out. There you experience an array of emotions. एक sadness आता है, एक disappointment आता है, एक frustration आता है, एक anger आता है. Like these four kind of emotions that you will be facing. But believe me, each emotion is different from the other emotion. Like sadness is totally different from an emotion called as anger. Anger is totally different from frustration. Now this frustration is totally different from disappointment. Sadness or disappointment is something arises when you are losing something. It should not be mixed with it should not be mixed with other forms of emotions. So each form of emotion is different. So this emotional intelligence includes four types of abilities. One is perceiving your emotion. अगर आपको टिकट नहीं मिलेगा, like what would you have done? आज आप प्लान किए हो, you will be going for a movie. अगर आप टिकट नहीं मिलेगा, if you have prepared a plan B, then all you will now be receiving is your negative emotions. You will be receiving positive emotions. So when we say perceiving emotions is like people's capacity to identify emotions in themselves and others using facial expressions, tone of voice, body language. Like happiness in the face, like I know you are happy. Sadness in the face. As an outer person, I know like you are sad. Okay, anger when you make a big face. Similar is a tone, like tone when you are using a very harsh tone, very hard tone, or in a very high pitched tone. We understand like you are agitated. We understand there is something which is bothering you. When you use a very low and very soft tone, which we understand like some kind of thing is depressing you. Body language is when you kind of see the way you put your hands, the way you fold your hands. That is how somebody in the front who is sitting in front of you understand what kind of emotion you are going through. The second one is using of emotions. Using of emotion is suppose feeling frustrated. So when you are frustrated, what do you do? Something like if something comes to my hand, I will break it. Feeling frustrated is like it is an emotion that enhances your cognitive activities. किसी को मारना, like बहुत चिढ़ गए हो, कोई आपको बहुत सता रहा है, किसी को मारना, then using of same emotion like when you are very sad, when you are very depressed, if you are crying out, if you are crying out, somewhat after crying out you will feel better. It happens. It actually happens. And this is what psychologists also do. So like sometimes this kind of emotions they support certain tasks and objectives. Like there are people जब वो बहुत चिढ़ जाएंगे और उनको बहुत गुस्सा आएगा, they start solving maths. There are people, they start doing some kind of maths and they start solving it. There are people जब उनको बहुत चिढ़ जाएगा, there is something which is not going right, they will start reading a different kind of book. People start listening to music. People go watch movies. This is what using emotions is. Then understanding of emotion, understanding is discriminating between the positive and the negative emotions. And it will somewhat lead to more of an effective management of emotions. When I say positive emotions is happiness, I mean when it is on a phase of like positivity inside you. And when I say negativity, negative emotions, it is like when there is a sadness, frustration, anger, depression, all those things. Sometimes sadness is also a positive emotion. Like it is like appropriate place when you are showing sadness for a loss of a particular thing, then it is a loss of a particular thing, then it is an appropriate emotion, and sometimes the sadness is a positive emotion. But then you have to understand which kind of emotion you are trying to show. The other one is called as managing emotions. Managing emotion is basically today what today what the psychologists are looking after. It is called as emotion management. मतलब it includes your ability to remain open to a very wide range of emotions. Your ability, I say when I say your ability, मतलब you are open to a very wide range of emotions. You do not know कल अगले 1 घंटे में क्या होगा, but then you are open to it. If it is a bad thing that's happening, okay, ठीक है, we'll manage our emotions. If it's a good thing happening, then yes, we'll manage our emotions. It is recognizing the value of feeling certain emotions in specific situations. Like in a sad case, if you are crying down, it's okay. That is what you are supposed to do. In a very sad state, if you start laughing, then it is somewhat not actually should be doing. Then you need to understand what are the short term and the long term strategies that you need to include, where you need to make a more efficient use of emotion and regulation. Suppose your manager shouts at you every time when you approach him with the work that he has given. He shouts at you. Shouting at you is a quite depressing thing. You know that when you approach your manager, the manager is going to give you some kind of criticism. Sometimes that kind of criticism should be taken in a constructive manner rather than in a destructive manner. Sometimes those managers, in order to bring the best out of you, they will give you criticisms. Like there are people who suppose there are people I know who will be performing better. जब बोलते हैं ना ज्यादा निचोड़ते हो तो they give their best in that situation. I know people who will be doing better. Like you need to put them in test regularly. You need to put them in criticism regularly to understand to bring the best out of them. That is somewhat a positive, somewhat a negative, depending on how you are perceiving it. Next is your trait model. Yes, next one is your trait model. I believe all of you have read about trait leadership. ओबी में आप लोगों ने ट्रेट थ्योरीज ऑफ लीडरशिप पढ़े थे, पढ़े हो कि नहीं? व्हाट इज ट्रेट थ्योरी ऑफ लीडरशिप? Now, there are certain types of traits and which define your habitual behavior pattern, your thought process, and your emotion. This is called as sorry trait theory when you have read it in terms of personality. Like every human personality is different, and there are certain type of traits that give a shape to their personality. Personality in terms like what is your thought pattern, what is your behavior, what is your emotion when you are showing it. There is, I guess you must have read about Alport's trait theory. Number of traits that he has given, like intelligence, habit, skill, attitudes, temperament, all those things, behavior. Forget that you have studied in OB. I guess you must have forgotten by now. So when it comes to trait model of emotional intelligence, trait model of emotional intelligence refers to individual self-perception of their emotional abilities. Like you know where you have to give intelligent answers, you know where you have to give your smart answers, you understand where you have to show yourself, where you have to expose yourself, you understand where you do not have to expose yourself. That is what your trait model is. The straight model of emotional intelligence is very essential when you are attending interviews because, as I said, like emotional intelligence, as we have studied above, and we have understand like it is all about understanding your emotions and understanding the front person's emotion. Today interviews are mostly based on behavioral rather than on technical. Like they have a different technical team who will be taking your interview. They also have a behavioral team who will be taking your interview just to understand what your mindset is, how your mind is going. ठीक है so this trait model is very much essential in understanding like where in understanding your own perception about your emotional abilities. As I had said it in a layman's language, it's very much dependent on you where you are exposing yourself, where you are not exposing yourselves. By studying this, we come to a fundamental question today, like what emotional resources do leaders need to thrive amid this chaos and turbulent change? How do leaders create an emotional organizational climate that fosters creativity, innovation, change, performance, and lasting relations? The most important aspect for a leader was to control. But today, with everything changing, if you are most concerned about there will be people under my thumb, believe me, there will be people who would be losing your thumb. But if you are a person who is into like what is the behavioral aspects of these people, if I'm going to ask you like आपके घर में कैसे हैं, घर में कैसे चल रहा है, any problem? Is this something which is some behavioral aspect that people are looking into? So today's business or public environments and people issues are far too complex to return to a top-down power-based style of leadership. Like if there will be too much of control, there will be no scope for people to give their creativity. There will be no scope for people to give into innovation. So somewhere people are bound to go out. People are bound to go out of the control. People are going to retaliate in that control. Maruti Suzuki plant had too much control on the people, like their supervisors had too much control on the people who were working there. Uh, Too much control on the people, permanent people who were working there, temporary people or contractual people who were working there, and boom. And it burst one day and it burst so bad that it killed one of the HR managers of that company. Okay. So today when people are managers, what managers are exactly looking for is, yes, they will be giving you criticisms regarding the work, they will be giving you timelines regarding the work, but at the same time they will be taking you out for lunch, they will be taking out you out for group activities. This is somewhere where they plan to make a bond between team and the leaders. So when we talk about leadership, we still use the old language in describing them. Like a leader should be bold, brave, tough, and it's something which should have a strong sense of purpose to result. But this is not today what we are looking for a leader. Those attributes do not fit today's needs. Today's workforce does not accept the autocratic style often adopted by the leaders following historical models of leadership. Leadership has had to evolve to match a growing sense of democracy. Democracy matlab everyone in the team should have a say in it. Everyone in the team should be included and everyone of the team should feel like they are contributing one important aspect to the work. So leadership has had to evolve to match a growing sense of democracy and independence in the workforce. Employees now have far more options and choices than the foot soldiers of yesterday. Yes, foot soldiers of yesterday, matlab someone would blindly follow the leaders. Like where the leader goes, they would have to follow. But today, employees they have a lot many of choices. Today, employees have a lot many of options, lot many of choices, thanks to improvement in the work life, thanks to the improvement in the economy. Today, if I do not like my manager, I can move into another company. Okay. Does now need to manage and lead an empowered workforce, and they have to go beyond the consultative, cooperative, and democratic styles today. Like what I am giving example of like taking them out for a group meeting, taking them out for a group dinner is something old style. Okay. So they have to be like they have to go beyond being a consultative, cooperative, and democratic style. Today consultation and involvement जो हम बोलते हैं, but leaders still get criticized for not having a communicating a compelling vision and purpose. Like if you're a leader and I believe in consulting, I believe in involving new people. in every decision of the company. But then there are leaders who get criticized. Then again, that leader will be criticized like whatever the vision and the purpose of the company that is not made clear to the people. Like this is what happens today. Like when I say consultation and involvement, अगर suppose we are planning an activity in the institute, we are planning a preschool meet. So when we talk about consultation and involvement, I should consult and involve new people. That's okay. That's being the kind of thing that we need to do while if we are looking for this event to be successful. But then when it comes to consultation and involvement, you, as I said, people are of different personalities and each of them is unique. Each of them have a different notion. Each of them has a different version of thinking. So you will somewhat get diverted from what we have thought about. So here the leader gets criticized. I would get criticized for not communicating to you what is the vision, what is the purpose, what is the aim of doing that preschool meet. Is autonomy and freedom. Like, okay, autonomy and freedom is what leaders started giving, but leaders are still expected to take full responsibility when things go wrong. Yes, it is somewhat happening in today's organization. There are leaders who take responsibility when things go wrong. They give autonomy and freedom to their teammates, but if there is a decision which is getting wrong, then they take a responsibility. Believe me, in your life, if you hear that a manager is saying, "I'm giving you full responsibility. You can do whatever you like." But if it is a good thing, then credit goes to you. If it is a bad thing, then I would be taking this responsibility. He's a manager to work for. He's actually a manager to work for. So teachers today are expected to give a free autonomy, free hand to the people who are working under them. They are supposed to give the credit if things move in a good way, but then they are supposed to take the responsibility if things do not go in the right way. Then there should be opportunities for growth, challenge, and glory, but leaders must be on hand to coach and mentor so that we develop our potential. There should be opportunities for the people for growth, for career growth. For there should be like people would be exposed to challenges so that they learn from it. They should be able to take glory when we say like if it is a good thing, it is on you. There should be given credits to everything, but then it is a leader who should be coaching and mentoring the people. This coaching and mentoring is one of the key issues in today's organizations. Leaders should be able to take the hands of the people and they should be able to coach and mentor so that there have to be potential development has to be made. Growth in the career has to be seen. There should be inclusion and team spirit. We still there should be inclusion and team spirit in terms like they should be included. There should be a team spirit. There should be a team game when we are achieving something, but still want our leaders to give us individual recognition and acknowledgement. Like चार लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है. We are going to say like this four of them have performed very well, but four of them individually will want कि इस मैंने ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट किया है, मैंने ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट किया है, तो मुझे ज्यादा मिलना चाहिए. These things go on. Like there should be an inclusion and team spirit. We always look for, but then we always look for that individually. Individually, our leadership give us acknowledgement and recognition. Okay, this is the nicest good thing. Like somebody who is very nice, somebody who says good thing, somebody who is goody two shoes is a very good thing. This works. This actually works in today's world. Now, somebody who raises voice, somebody who is strict, is always criticized, is always seen in a very bad light. But somebody who speaks very softly isn't much concerned like what others are doing, isn't much concerned like what okay, you're not able to do this, let it be, don't do this. If someone is actually said in a no, is actually said to be very good. This is what I'm saying from my experience. Thanks to you people, I got this experience. Okay, remember, emotional intelligence is not about being nice all the time, it is about being honest. That's what we have studied in the very first slide. Emotional intelligence is not about being touchy feely, it is about being aware of your feelings and those of others. Emotional intelligence is not about being emotional, it is about being very smart with your emotions and making your emotions as a channel to achieve the end. Okay. What are these are the five essential competencies of emotional intelligence. One is your self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation. These are related to ourselves. Then we should have an empathy and then effective relationship. This is something related to others. How many of you remember Jory window? How many of you remember Jory window?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you remember, right? I'll be
Yes, ma'am.
taking you to your jury window today. I remember this part. There are five essential competencies of emotional intelligence when it is called as when something related to ourselves is our self-awareness of our emotions, our self-regulation of our emotions, our self-motivation of our emotions. But what is related to others is the empathy that we show to the other person, the kind of effective relationship that we maintain with the other person, and the way we channel our emotions while maintaining that effective relationships. Okay. When it is self-awareness, if you understand your own feeling, you get a really great handle and you are going to interact and perform with others. So one of the first starting points is what's going on inside me. It is very essential that you understand what's going on inside me. Generally, extroverts, they understand their feelings, their emotions very well. But when it comes to introverts, they do not understand their emotions and feeling very well. Somewhat these introverts, when they do not understand their feeling very well, they channel it in a negative way. Extroverts always channel their emotions and feeling into a positive way. So this is how the emotional intelligence is. When we talk about self-awareness, this side is your self, this one is your other. Okay? So self is you are aware about your own self. ओके आप लोगों को पता है आप में से आप में क्या क्या इमोशंस है दिस इज वन एरिया विच इज नॉट नोन टू द अदर इट इज नोन टू यू this is one area which is known to you and it is reflected in your relationship. This is your social awareness. This is one area where it is known to you, it is not known to other, and you use it for your relationship management. It is somewhat like this in your Johari window. Like this is known by self and known by others. Known by self is you know you are very cheerful. This is something like which people know. Dependable, you are very friendly, you are very happy, helpful, you are very independent kind of thinking. You are very caring, warm, kind, mature. These are things you show. So this is something which is known to you, but then you show it to others. आप बाहर वालों को भी दिखाते हो. So this is known by others. But then this one area which is not known to you, this is unknown to yourself. आप जानते नहीं हो that you are very organized, you are very observant, you are very confident, you are very calm. ये सब ना ये जो आप यहाँ पे दिखाते हो and that is perceived by these others, वो लोग यहाँ पे decide करते हैं. Now somebody who is very cheerful, who is very dependable, is someone who is very calm. Someone who is very energetic, someone who is very independent is someone who is very confident. Now, someone who is very mature, someone who is very, क्या बोलते हैं, like independent या clever, then someone who is very trustworthy. But then there is one area which is like you are very patiently, you have a very patience wise you are very good. But this one area which is not unknown, which is not known to others. This is unknown by others. And this is one dark area which is not known to self, which is not known to others. Religious. There is one area, हम कैसे बोलते हैं, might not be like I am not might be a person who goes to temple daily. I might not be a person who speaks about religions, or I might not be a person who speaks about the way the belief that I follow. मैं ऐसा एक person नहीं हूँ जो कि आप लोगों को बोलूं कि मेरा रिलीजियस बिलीफ क्या है ना ही मैं एक ऐसा पर्सन हूं कि मैं रोज रोज मंदिर जाऊं but then somewhere if I have a knowledge कि अंदर से I follow a force somewhere I know कि I have to read this then this is religious it is unknown to me वो मुझे भी नहीं पता है वो बाहर वालों को भी नहीं पता है, वो आपके जोड़ी विंडो में जो आता है, दिस इज अ डार्क एरिया विच यू हैव टू, this area should always be explored. ये जो dark area है ना, this area should always be explored. Then there is something called as self-assertive. What is self? क्या? ऊपर है, थर्ड फ्लोर पे. हम्म. Hmm. Self-assertive is I was talking about self-assertive, right? Self-assertive is where you are expressing yourself very confidently, where you are expressing yourself very forcefully. Like self-assertive, मतलब ये आपको भी पता नहीं होगा, but there are some areas where you are very confident on. You do not know where that confidence has come up, and then you know that you have to speak that force that that takes you on speaking, like uh, when you are putting your superiority over the other, like मुझे ज्यादा पता है, there is a confidence. This one area is unknown to you, similarly it is unknown to others, but then this is somewhat you practice, somewhat you show. This is what your exactly your self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and social interaction is. When it comes to self-awareness, you have to recognize your own emotions. You have to identify, anticipate triggers for your own emotion. Trigger मतलब क्या होता है? There is a trigger that happens. Uh, uh, Generally, there is a kind of blessed peoples. Blessed peoples मतलब like आपको कैसे बताऊं, दे आर वेरी मच ब्लेस्ड. दे दे हैव अ, उनका जो बिहेवियरल स्किल है ना, वो बहुत कम रहता है. दे डू नॉट लाइक they do not like mixing with people, they do not understand people, but then inside they are very talented, very talented. There is,
Introvert man.
huh?
Introvert people.
Introvert is there, but there is a word for it which I think will not be appropriate for me to say it, because every one of us are every one of us are blessed by birth. So there is a one kind of such personality. They are very talented in terms of like singing. They are very talented in terms of like drawing. I happen to know one such person very closely. तो उनका एक ट्रिगर रहता है. ट्रिगर इज, मैं जिनके बारे में बात कर रही हूँ, अगर सम काइंड ऑफ ऐसा मर्ड या
Gift.
कलर उनके ऊपर आ जाता है ना, दे
God
इट
gift.
काइंड ऑफ,
God gift, ma'am.
गॉड गिफ्टेड एक्चुअली, ब्लेस्ड मैं बोल रही हूँ. कलर या ऐसे कुछ आ जाता है ना, दे लाइक व्हाइट. सपोज व्हाइट, व्हाइट मतलब इट हैज टू बी टोटली मिल्क व्हाइट. अगर कोई काइंड ऑफ कलर उसमें आ जाता है ना, इट ट्रिगर्स समथिंग इन देम, एंड देन देयर इज अ फ्लो ऑफ इमोशंस दैट हैपन. ओके, सो इन जनरल हमारे में भी वो है, कहीं ना कहीं हमारे में भी है, लाइक आइडेंटिफाई एंटिसिपेट ट्रिगर्स. ट्रिगर इज इफ आई सी अ मेसी डेस्क, if I say something which is not to my liking, then it triggers my emotion. चिढ़ आती है, then आपको समझ में भी नहीं आएगा कि आपको गुस्सा आ गया है. Okay, so you have to anticipate what triggers your own emotion. Like you should apprise appropriateness of your own emotional reactions. Like in those context, in what context? Like जहाँ पे sadness है, आपको sadness दिखाना पड़ेगा. Happy situation में happy दिखाना पड़ेगा. लाइक आपके दोस्त उसको कम मार्क्स मिले हैं, वो थोड़ा डिप्रेस्ड है, और आपको थोड़ा ज्यादा मार्क्स मिले हैं. नाउ इमेजिन अ सिचुएशन वेयर इफ यू गो ऑन डांसिंग बिफोर योर फ्रेंड जिसको कम मार्क मिले हैं, व्हाट विल हैपन? समवेयर वो दोस्त भी आपके ऊपर चिढ़ जाएगा, या व्हाट काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन इट विल लीड टू. सो वहां पे दोस्त के साथ भी दुख मनाना पड़ता है. काइंड ऑफ दोस काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, and that to a certain extent is also called as social awareness. Read emotional signals from multiple channels. Like understand, आपके ग्रुप है, you people are a group of friends, और सारे ग्रुप में से आपको ज्यादा नंबर मिला है. Like all of you know कि हमने बहुत कम एफर्ट दिए थे, but then you turn out to be lucky and आपको ज्यादा मार्क्स मिले हैं, और ग्रुप में सारे दुखी हैं, ऐसे नहीं हो सकता ग्रुप में सारे दुखी होते हैं, कोई कोई को भी कम मार्क मिलने पर भी वो बहुत खुश होते हैं. तो यू हैव टू रीड द इमोशनल सिग्नल्स फ्रॉम द मल्टीपल चैनल दैट आर कमिंग. You have to hypothesize those signals. Hypothesis matlab, like you have to take an assumption. He is sad, I need to be sad. He is happy, I need to be happy. Okay. Then applies options about actions to relative goals. Like if I have to maintain a long-term friendship, whenever my friend is sad, I need to be sad. Whenever my friend is happy, I need to be happy. Okay. We have to apply this. Similarly, in case of your friend, if my friend has got a higher mark and is sometimes very happy about it, I need to be happy. There I cannot be like, अरे तुझे तो हायर मार्क्स मिले मुझे कम मार्क्स मिले हैं. There I cannot be that kind of in that kind of situation. Okay, so you have to apply your options about actions and you have to relate them to the goals that you have to achieve. So when it comes to self management it is ourself. हमें ही करना है. Your friends do not have a say in it. Like you have to interrupt the initial thoughts and reactions from emotion where necessary. Sometimes we get negative emotions. When we get negative emotions, we immediately have to understand that this is a negative emotion and we have to cut it out. We do not need to carry it further. नेगेटिव इमोशंस मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम सेइंग दो सब्जेक्ट्स बैक लग गए. अभी दो सब्जेक्ट्स में बैक लग गए मतलब कमिंग सेमेस्टर में भी दो सब्जेक्ट्स में बैक लग जाएंगे, मेरे चौथे चार सब्जेक्ट्स में बैक लग जाएंगे. कब क्लियर करूंगी, कब सर्टिफिकेट्स आएंगे, कब मुझे सीजीपीए मिलेगा, कब कंपनीज को बैठूंगी. कंपनीज ने अगर पता चल गया कंपनी वालों को कि मुझे बैक लगा था तो कितना बुरा होगा. So this is kind of negative emotion, something which will not happen, but then we have been thinking a lot about it. So from the very beginning, we have to cut it out. Then we have to use and express our emotion. Emotions have to be expressed. अंदर दबा के रखना नहीं चाहिए. That is what psychologists say. That is what your mental health also says. Whenever it is any kind of emotion, express your emotion. किसी के सामने वो निकाल देना चाहिए. Because so that your mind will be free and it will have enough space to generate the other emotion in the next hour. Okay. So emotions has to be expressed and appropriately. You should be appropriately expressing your emotion. किसके सामने क्या बोल रहे हो वो समझ में आना चाहिए. Regulate emotions to support the response choice. Whatever response you are giving in a particular choice, if you know like आपके बॉस का कार का कुछ खराब हो गया है, do not show your emotions. Do show your appropriate emotions here. Do not show the other way emotion which you people are actually having. बॉस के हाथ से फोन गिर के, सपोज बहुत अच्छा फोन है, कल ही खरीदा है, आज हाथ से गिर गया है एंड इट्स टूट गया है. डू नॉट शो योर ओरिजिनल इमोशंस. भले कितने अच्छे इमोशंस आते हैं, शो द अप्रोप्रिएट इमोशन इन दैट चॉइस. When it comes to social interaction, engage others, explore to understand others, influence others towards your goal. Like this is a quality of a good leadership that will be influencing others towards your own goals. So I'll stop here. I'll download the attendance sheet. See. So, any doubts from today's class?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay, I'll leave it then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.